Welcome to this show. My name is Nahamia Nicholas, and together with
Gracious Akam Kurida.
And we introduced you this wonderful show, The Voice of the Ignored Bazukulu, where we shall be digesting things or issues that are really affecting the young people of this nation.
Yes, just like he has said, The Voice of the Ignored Bazukulu is going to be a show that is going to be talking about the plight of the young people. We get the young people, they share their experiences, we listen, we hear from them, we see what they have got to say. People say they do not have the potential, they do not have the skills, they do not have the knowledge. Mm-hmm. This is the time where we can really show that it is not what it is. We are going to be hosting young, brainy people, and indeed they will prove that they have potential.
This population is so frustrated, and we have a lot of issues. And this is an opportunity because we feel like we've not been heard and issues are pinning us down. And today we have brought you our dear guests.
Yes, our guests tonight, we have two young people, and I will talk about them tonight. We host Kakuru Kosma, who is a professional doctor and is currently doing his internship at Kawempe Referral Hospital. We also host a psychologist who is called Shaba Yunis. Shaba Yunis is a psychologist and is also MP Western Uganda, and that is what he's aspiring for. And so these are people that we bring you tonight. They are going to share different experiences, but most importantly, our talk tonight is going to be talking about the role of young people in the politics of their country. You realize we are just a few months, and this is the period when, of course, we are entering into politics. We want to understand what is the role of young people. What have they got to say? And this is exactly what we bring you tonight. I'll just give an opportunity for them to talk about themselves, and then we can get to tell you what we've got in the store tonight, especially what concerns our topic. I will start from the gentleman, and then they could introduce themselves, and then we get, of course, to unpackage what we've got in the store for you.
Yes. Thank you so much. I must say I'm immensely glad to be part of the show today, and especially the pioneering show.
That's true.
My name, like you said, is rightly Kakuru Kosma. I am a medical doctor by training and by profession. To say I am born of a peasant is more or less an overstatement. But we've seen ourselves go through experiences, and it is these experiences that have shaped us. And I must say that it is the experiences that bring us here. I am currently doing the mandatory government medical internship for all medical doctors, graduate medical doctors, and I'm doing it at Kawempe National Referral Hospital. 9 months, 3.
We have a government official. It's going to be interesting.
Yes, I don't subscribe to a political party, but I subscribe to ideas. And as I say out my ideas, they are entirely not biased by any affiliation. And I am convinced that those ideas are informed. In a country where people of my age group have by far engaged into such interviews, but for different agendas, we must credit the minds behind such shows, because then our voices will perhaps be heard. I am glad to be part of the show.
Thank you so much, Doctor. And indeed you've heard. So whatever we are going to talk about, it is not affiliated to any political party. We are just young people who are bringing out their ideas, like he has explained. We do not subscribe to any party. We speak ideas. We are the ignored bazukulu and speak ideas.
Before we proceed, we can clarify this. This show is going to be talking about a lot of issues, not specifically politics, politics inclusive, but we also have another segment where we talk about social issues. We talk about economic issues. We talk about a lot of things. So it's not a political show, but rather a show that talks about the realities of young people, like the way they are trying to cope up with the environment that they are living in. We proceed to you.
Thank you so much. First of all, I want to thank the Almighty God for this kind of beautiful day given to us, and I can't forget to thank the organizers of this show, because most of the youth have ideas, and they have good ideas, but the fact that they cannot get such platforms to give out these ideas, they have died into them. But getting such opportunities as the youth, I really credit whoever has organized this. I'm Eunice Ashaba. I'm a psychologist professionally, and I'm a training lawyer. But besides that, I'm a counselor, I'm a mother, and I'm also the aspiring Western Youth MP. That is the most thing I can say. However much you have said, this is not political, but yeah, basically that's why I can talk much about. Because having you here and the youth, personally, I can feel I can feel much empowered, and I can feel that power that at least the youth have tried to show up. Besides other areas outside where they haven't been given opportunities, but at least having this opportunity, it alone, I can't take it for granted. I thank you so much, and let me wish you a nice time.
Thank you so much. Welcome back. Actually, we welcome you to this family called the ignored bazukulu. You are one of them now. The ignored muzukuru. How much have you been ignored?
Oh yes. He's talking about how much I've been ignored. I'll first of all talk about again, say my name. My name is Degratius Akampurida. I'm an educator. I studied education, English and literature, and I'm also training as a lawyer currently. Asking me how much I've been ignored, of course, it is not only me, actually. It is most of us, the young people, who feel the structures are not actually supporting us in different areas, like I could be able to say. But most important is that our voices have not been heard. I could talk about the issues, and I could even skip here speaking about the issues where I've been ignored. But I would say that generally our voices haven't heard, and that is why we actually bring this.
Exactly.
As the co-host of this show, it is specifically aiming at making sure we can have the voices of the young people, we can host brilliant young people, so that what we've not been given, for us as young people, we create a platform ourselves. And this is basically what we are doing tonight.
That's very true. You can proceed and introduce the topic, and we dive into that.
So the topic tonight, we are going to talk about the role of young people in the politics of their country. We realize that, of course, we are into a period when we are going to go in the national politics. And so we want to look at what is the role of young people. You realize that we are a country with the youngest population in the whole world. And if I'm not mistaken, the UBO statistics showed that 75% of the general population are young people. And out of the 75 percentage of the general population, you will realize that 10 million are actually young people from the age of 18 to 30. And talking about the population of young people being 75, and then we look at the 10 million, we only have 5 members of parliament who are representing young people, but we feel they can, for example, use the social media. Yes. The same way it has changed everything, it changed narrative. You've heard what it has done. It started as a joke, and people were like, social media is a joke, because we were used of looking at the videos, or funny videos, memes, and that is all that social media was, people thought that is what was the major role of social media. But it is not. We can actually, for example, another role we can actually, determine the outcomes of the elections, because we are 75. We are 75. We have the 75% of the entire population. So what makes you think we cannot actually determine the outcomes of election? So I think we can actually determine the outcomes of election because we are many, we are bigger. This is our country, and we feel if we are bigger, why do we accept to look like we are powerless? But then the entire population has got 75% of us. So I feel that is the second role they can be able to do. And most importantly, how I can sum up is that that essence of empathy, being indifferent and being detached to what matters. And say me, I cannot participate in politics. Politics is everything. Politics is a school where you're studying from. Politics is the water you use. Politics is the power that we use. Politics is everything.
No one is free from politics.
So politics is everything. Those who say me, I'm not going political, they are lying. They should actually bring it out very clearly that for them they do not care. You know, in a society we can have people who mind and we have those who do not mind. And naturally, even at home, we can look at a person who is going to look at a kid, you know, playing with fire and praying in the mouth of a dog. And he's going to let that kid do whatever and he's going to say, no, he's not mine. It's not my kid. And this is quite akin to what young people are doing. We have a big role to play in the politics of our country.
We said something about the outcomes that we youth can actually determine, or we can use social media to determine the outcomes of the elections. But surprisingly enough, we have more than 500 MPs in parliament. If we can, if we have that power, you know, and we believe in ourselves and we really want change, why is it that only 30% of the 500 and more than actually 500 MPs, 70% of it are old people who are above 35 years old? Only 30%, they are the only MPs who are below 35 years. It is so disturbing that it shows that we do not believe completely in ourselves, even when we have the power.
In ourselves and not knowing, not being updated about what is going on in the country, because we are just entitled that we have to choose any other person to lead us. We are not ready to be leaders. And I think I cannot blame anyone, but I think I can just bring it as an awareness to the young people. Us being the biggest percentage, yes, we have the biggest percentage everywhere. Let it be votes. Because if you have your vote, meaning you have a full control on who is going to go to parliament. Besides, these young people have been manipulated and they have been promised false. They have been given false hopes. They have been corrupt, and we are the people who have accepted corruption. That's why you're seeing many old people and the youth in parliament. Yeah, I can say that they have easily manipulated us. Let me not include myself. They have easily manipulated the youth. They have easily manipulated the youth. I'm among the youth, but it's hard to manipulate me. So they have easily manipulated them, and they have also lost hope in themselves. Yes, the system may not be clear as you think, but what have you done? Because if they can say, if you know that at your polling station, for example, let me use like your 30%, okay, you're 30 in that polling station, and on that very day you're there, they have said they have collected more than 60 votes from your polling station, and you're there, you're keeping quiet, you know? So, and you're the same person who is fighting that, no, we are 60, yet in other words, you know that you the truth, you know that you're sad, but you're fighting for the other person who is saying that you're 60. Because you have eaten that 1,000, because they don't give the much, they no longer give the much.
Perhaps we are just maybe blaming them. Maybe it could be a system. Doctor,
Yes.
what have you got to say?
For me, I'm trying to say that we don't have power. It's to underestimate our power. Because 75% is overwhelming. Overwhelming. And you see, brought in the aspect of social contract. Social contract means you are giving up your rights into some people that will take care of those rights. That I have rights to my money, but I'm going to give this money to the Ministry of Finance person. I am just lending you my rights. It's absurd that most times this contract is broken. But in actual sense, a contract is binding. If this contract was binding and our rights were actually put to use, then we would have the power that we want. So I don't want to blame the youth. Of course, we cannot, use the old people as scapegoats. We have our own issues. But I think we are not the authors of our own problems. There are some other people that have authored these problems, and we find ourselves entangled into the very problems. The systemic exclusion.
Now,
I was watching these people that want to contest, and there was one lady contesting for the same position. Youth MP Western Uganda. She was crying over 3 million. She's a fresh graduate, this 1 year out of campus. I think it has just risen from, was it 1? It has just risen to 3. How many youth can afford that? Now that's just nomination. We are not talking about the monetization. Now this is a college system. We are not going to, wake up and, campaign. And we can examine the MPs that are represented us in all regions. There are 3 things you must possess, one of the 3. Of course, there will be outliers, but you must have money. You have guns in courts, you have influence. And we can examine all the candidates. Then you must possess one of the 3. Are you surprised that, for instance, realistically speaking, we all know what happened in Central Uganda, to be precise. They almost ousted all NRM people. But are you surprised that the young people that very much need the change from the out view of the general population, especially in Uganda, where people even ticked umbrellas without knowing the person? Can you believe the fact that actually the youth MP of Central Uganda to be precise, is NRM? We need to examine this. It cannot be something natural that people that voted NRM out when it came to youth, they said, we think this time we should choose what we are fighting. So it's the systemic exclusion, and one exclusion is the financial bit. We can talk about
and that one now it gives me another issue that you talked about youth MP. So what I'm driving at is looking if they have been able to do what they are supposed to do, and maybe we look at the effective representation. You realize that as part of the political affirmative action, Article 78 provides that we have to have representatives that are going to represent special interest groups, where of course the young people, the youth, are also involved, and that gives us now the 4 slots for the 4 regions plus the national youth MP, and those are 5. So we realize that we have 5 MPs who are representing young people, and among them is Edison Kumayo of Western. We have Godoy of Eastern. We have Okol Temri of Northern. We have Agnes Chirabo of Central. So now, if we are to put them on the weighing scale, these are people. We were talking about monetization. We are talking about young people not having resources. If we talk about those who have been able to get there, they have not been impeded by resources because they are there.
Yes.
We don't know how they got there, but they are there. If we are to look at the effective representation, I've been following some of the bills that have been passed and have turned into laws. If you follow 2023, if you can look at the bills that were proposed and turned into laws, we could talk about the Museum and the Monument Act that was passed, the Anti-Homosexuality Act that was passed, the law reformation that was also talked about. You would feel that there is nothing like that is talking about the young people. You feel that it's as if we do not actually exist. When you look at the Microfinance Deposit Act, those were the most of the laws that were passed in 2023, and you feel we have these young people who are there to represent us and they are not doing anything. I would give you a quick example. Honorable Nyamutoro is actually now a minister, but she's representing the youth at national level as the National Youth MP. You realize that that is the person who is supposed to be talking on our behalf, because she's supposed to leverage on her position as a minister. But every other time you will see her talk about her love affairs. She's talking about Eddie Kenzo every other time. I saw when she was in Navy on her Thanksgiving ceremony, and she was like, you see, Mr. President, this man has looked for me, this man has cared for me and has done the best. Maybe she's busy advocating for Eddie Kenzo, because maybe that is why he's the presidential advisor, and finally it is an achievement.
Or maybe
a minute to talk about him. Maybe it is an achievement. I've had most of her interviews. Last time she was on Next Radio, and she was still talking about Eddie Kenzo, that this is a man I never expected that actually would have me, was not my time. Now is my time. Are those our needs? Is that an employment we were supposed to talk about? You're talking about. So you're busy telling us that actually what we need is, we need to have people, we need to love. And why is it that most of all our interviews are about, love and, about family matters? You are a minister. You are representing young people. Those are the people who are there. So should we think that we do not actually ask for accountability? Are we not supposed to question them to make sure that we have checks and balances? And such a person is going to go back. I heard she's now going for Soroti to start, and they are still going to vote. When you're busy telling us about, your love life, and that is what we need as young people. So that is the question I'm putting to you. Do we feel there has been effective representation? You are going for youth MP for Western Uganda. We've had a number of actually such people. We've had Edson Rugumayo. He has been one of, I think, vocal people. If you could get back to his background from university. We've had Honorable Gerard Kafune Kakaranga. We know him. He's been a vocal person. We know Winepaka. What have they done? Do you really feel, as someone who is just getting into that position, do you really feel they have done anything? And what would you change? Do you think you can change the narrative? Or you are one of those people who are going to go there, get salary, get fringe benefit, you become an MP, and that is all you forget about the pride and the voting of young people.
And then use it as a vehicle further.
No, I can never use this as a vehicle because personally I'm under a theme of love-driven progress. Meaning whatever we do or whatever I'm pushing for, it's the love for the youth. And I have just realized that anything which is out of love can never be repaid by. It can only be repaid by love.
not the
Yeah.
love that Nyamutoro talks
No,
about.
not the love that you was talking about. But what I'm trying to say, you have already said you have seen many youth MPs in parliament, and they have some go and come out without the satisfaction given to the youth that they have been represented. I personally, I cannot say I have been fully represented, because if I have been fully represented, meaning I had no reason to come, because I am coming because I'm seeing gaps, especially in uplifting the voice of the youth. Honestly, I haven't seen any platform, and for the time I'm always following up whatever is happening in parliament, I have never seen a bill being raised specifically concerning the youth. Meaning, if they have been there, I may not say they haven't done anything, but I personally, maybe you'll be the witnesses, I personally haven't. And most of them I have their contacts.
Because you haven't seen it, most likely it's not there.
If
So
it's
you
a
accept
work-
that
work-
they slipped.
Work is visible, it talks for itself.
So
Did they sleep on the job? That is what we want to clarify. Did they sleep on the job?
no, I will not say they slept on the job, because at least they have been there. But the mere fact that they never worked.
They have been there.
No,
It's
they
not
have.
enough.
No, if they have been there, I want to, for the lack of better word, there is the word I want to bring.
Is she
in.
going to sleep? If she's just trying to say they did sleep, and she was the same person talking about she didn't see any bill
No.
proposed and
Not
anything
seeing.
that they were able to do. Are you not telling us that we shouldn't trust you? You're actually going to sleep on the job
Not
because you are
really.
aspiring to be the
Not
MP
really.
for Western Region?
Not-
Now tell us, do you feel, in your own view, have we been represented well? Is that the representation you want to go in the parliament and do for us. Sleep there and talk about your love affairs, and if you don't do that, you actually keep quiet.
And then
It's not about sleeping. Because if you say that someone has been sleeping, that is the way it sounds.
No, it is
Yes,
figurative.
nothing happened.
Yes, it is metaphorical. It is metaphorical. It is showing that you actually did not do that you were supposed to do. They do not elect you to go there and you sit and you don't look at the plight of young people. Do you know the percentage of the young people that are not employed? Actually, let me give you that. Out of the 10 million young people, you will realize that out of the 10 million young people from the age of 18 to 30, only 1 million have got a bank account. And only 30% of the 75% of young people have got something to do. So if out of the 10 million people from, of course, which and this is the percentage for young people from the age of 18 years to 30 do not have a bank account, only 1 million. It shows the 9 million actually are people who are nothing, who are not actually working, they are not saving anything, they are just there. Now, look at the 75% and someone says only 30 people are able to have something to do. And I'm not talking about, having these good jobs. We are only saying they have something to do. Then do we say they did not sleep on the job? That is what you want to do once you get there.
No, I can never sleep. And what I'm trying to say, the reason why I never wanted to use the word sleeping on the job. Yes, they haven't done what we expected, but they are the little things they have done. Because at least I have seen some of them visit some schools. Yes, there they have done that, but at least we appreciate them for that. Then they are the main things. That's why I use the word specific. They haven't tackled specific issues that hurt the youth.
Yes, honorable.
That's why I'm seeing that gap.
Honorable, that is where I get it. Dr. Bosuma, I want you to look at that issue. I want you to compare what she's trying to bring out as effective representation vis-a-vis the current needs of young people. Let's look at representation vis-a-vis the needs of young people.
I think we make a mistake when we say, has there been effective representation?